Hi there, I'm Chris Berman. We got a lot of games to cover, so let's get to it. In our first game this week, we had the Jets decisively win by 17 points. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Bengals win their 5th game of the season. The Jaguars lost this one, but will stay at number 3 in the AFC South. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Boomer, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Roosevelt Colvin sticks out on this list as one of the more costly injuries. A broken elbow is the culprit. He's out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Marcus Robinson might be the biggest loss on this list. A hairline fracture of the arm is the initial report, and the doctors are saying he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs. On to the serious news of the week. David Terrell will miss the remainder of the year, and this is a big blow to this passing game because he was obviously a main target. Now we'll move on to our top story of the day. Randy Moss is going to find himself in street clothes for the time being, and that'll be a major blow to this club. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
Ravens, Patriots. Ty, I fought the law, and the law won. Would come up with a huge play here, as he was able to pick one off here, then had some clear sailing in front of him. The Patriots win this one by the final score of 23-3. Torrey Holt stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. Plexico Burris had over 50 yards receiving and helped his Steelers beat the Redskins. Up in the Motor City, Detroit, we had the Lions fall by 10 points. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
Marvin Jones will be moving on from his current address, and he gets a pretty good deal to do it. 2 years, $4.5 million. Damian Cook is on the move as well as he signs a 3-year contract with the Lions.
Raiders, Broncos.
3-year contract.
Philip Buchanan was in the right place at the right time, as his interception was a possible momentum shifter. The Raiders go on to win this by the final score of 13-3. Down in the Georgia Dome, we had the Falcons win this one to the tune of 13 points. The Giants defense came away with 3 turnovers in their victory at Giants Stadium. The Chiefs won at home, but will take to the road next week to meet the Raiders. Bears, Cowboys. Raiders. Jacques Reeves would come up with the big play to kill a drive as he was able to step in front of a wayward pass for an INT. The Bears go on to win this by the final score of 6-3. The Seahawks won this contest but will stay at the first place in the NFC West. Jamal Robertson rushed for 2 touchdowns and helped his 49ers beat the Dolphins. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Titans pick up their 8th win of the year. Buccaneers, Panthers. Pick up their Muhsin Muhammad came up with a huge play here as they cover a lot of real estate on this one. The Buccaneers win this one by the final score of 17-10. So let's change things up a bit and turn to a guy that's had his eye on the college game, and that's our own Mel Kiper Jr. He joins us now. Mel, your work never ends, I know. Believe me, I know better than anybody else. But it's never too early to start thinking about next year's draft, is it?
Never too early indeed. And now that, for the most part, the regular season in college football is behind us, we can really start looking back at the guys that have impressed me the most across college campuses this year. Shelton is a guy right off the bat that's really impressed me thus far. 6'1", 321, out of Eastern Illinois, and I really believe he's got a great future ahead of him in the National Football League. He's very active and energetic for a defensive tackle, and he's the kind of guy that won't take any plays off. He's a battler. Sharp is another one of those guys that I'm really warming up to. Something of a late bloomer at the collegiate level, but he's put together a great season thus far, and I believe he's one of the more polished running backs in this year's class. So that'll do it for now, but you can guarantee that the big board is going to see a lot of risers and fallers between now and April.
So that'll just about do it. But before we go, I'm going to toss out a few game balls to my prime time players. Each and every one of these men had a week to remember. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.